Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Hip Hop Babies.
Yes, sirski.
You know we back, and we in a whole new genre now.
What genre? Tell him.
Rootin' Tootin' Dead Lee with Cowboy Ray. Talking about this country, man. You know, it's a new era for country, man. Finally, the right people are doing country. But today we getting into Cowboy Carter by none other than Beyonce. First Beyonce review on this channel.
Yes, sir.
And we picked a very interesting time to enter in Beyonce review economy. But here we are, man. I feel like this one's been brewing for a while. I don't know if you're well versed in Lemonade or not, but if you remember Daddy Lessons off there, you know, she was kind of dabbling a little bit, getting into it. I feel like that was our first, you know, sneak peek into this era. A little precursor as to why Beyonce did this album. In my opinion, a lot of what people have been saying, this album is a response basically to her performance at the Country Music Awards with the Dixie Chicks, when she got tons of backlash just for being herself, a black woman, inside of the country genre. It was so bad that they had to take down her video performance off of YouTube. It's getting too many hate comments. Man, this album, for what I'm reading on it, was about bringing back country to what it originally was, man. It's a black genre. You got the queen of this shit, the Beehive. She doing it her way, and I think that this is a really, really good album to put out as a first country album. I was not expecting this.
Okay. How familiar are you with country?
It's no secret that I got a father who grew up with country, showed me a lot of country when I was growing up. I know about the classics and stuff, you know. I'll be listening to Alan Jackson's probably like one of my favorites of all time. He's kind of an older artist, and I listened to a lot of 2000s country that was on the radio and stuff. Probably stopped listening around 2010. I completely tuned out country just because I felt like I got all I could from it. But this album is actually making me rethink my opinion on that, about pushing country to the side.
That's
what about
dope,
you,
bro?
bro?
That's dope. I'm not that familiar with country. I grew up on R&B, sometimes jazz, a lot of hip hop, soul music, stuff like that. So country wasn't really in my household, even though I did have some country family. My grandfather came from the South, but he never really was a fan of like country music, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it makes sense with, like we're saying, with the cultural divide that's happened within country. That's why I was kind of excited to go into this album though, because it's like Beyonce's doing side quests at this point. Like you said, she is the queen bee. Her last album, Renaissance, was a dance album pretty much. Yeah. I wouldn't say techno, but like some of the beats like were getting like crazy on there, and she ripped it. I liked Renaissance a lot. So going into this one, hearing that basically this was supposed to come out first, but she said that she put out Renaissance because people needed that type of music. And I agree. Renaissance was one of my favorite albums the year it came out because it was energy. I feel like it was a passion project. I feel like it's the music that Beyonce wants to make at this point in her career. And that's why I'm saying she's doing side quests, because in the past she was focused on R&B and pop, right? As she's grown with Lemonade and Beyonce, those two albums, she started to differentiate herself as far as like her old music and her new music. I feel like she started to talk more about grown topics. Not saying she didn't in the past. I feel like she was more open and talk about having those conversations about being a black woman in the United States. You feel me? And I appreciated that in her music. I bet you feel the same way, right?
Yeah, you can also see it like with just the genres that she's picking. Like that's why I really made a note of that, because dance hall, you know, music is an originally black genre. Country is an originally black genre, but a lot of the black faces get replaced by, you know, whatever the industry at the time thinks is going to move. And more often than not, you know, you end up with a Elvis Presley type who's just doing covers of a bunch of people who done the work and they don't get any reward for it. So I think it's great, man. It's awesome that she's trying to attach a black face to the genre. That's where it came from, and people should know that. I thought that the opener is a really good way of kind of spelling that out for the listener, that American Requiem. What is a requiem? A requiem can be defined as like a mass for the dead, you know, a mass for all the people that came before her, that she's bringing along the way to now. And it could also be perceived as death to what American country is now, you know, what people think it is now. It could be, you know, a rebirth of that. She's starting from ground zero. I thought that was a great intro. Even if it wasn't my favorite track, I think it was definitely somber and sets the tone for some mass for all the dead and departed. So
yeah, I liked it as well. Basically saying she's country enough. She, talks about how, certain people, like you touched on earlier, weren't feeling her transition to this type of music, or just like in general, I've always said like she messes with certain things. Like I got hot sauce in my bag and stuff. Like she's like, I'm country enough. I've been a part of this culture. I'm from Texas. When she was working with Megan Thee Stallion, she always brings that up. Like I'm from Texas. I'm Texas born and raised. You feel me? So that was a cool intro. And going into this, like I said, I was excited, but the singles, I wasn't really feeling the singles that much. I mean, they were kind of cool. They were kind of catchy. 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em.
Spicy.
Really? I mean, I liked Texas Hold'em was all right. That one I think I liked more. 16 Carriages was kind of slow. I think what threw me off at first is like, oh, okay, this is you obviously doing the country thing, right? When it came out, it was a acquired taste. And they fit within the album, I think.
They fit better for sure. Texas Hold'em, the chorus is great on that song. So it's really hard not to like that catchy one. You really have to be a hater. 16 Carriages is the second original on here. She did do a lot of covers on here. I'm glad that she reclaimed the covers. If the white man can do the covers and he can get popular off of it, hell, Beyonce can do as many covers as she want, man. I don't give a fuck. She did them really well too. 16 Carriages is one of like the most thoughtful, introspective songs that I think I've heard from Beyonce. We're getting this imagery of like her like getting like taken away from her innocence of youth at such a young age, going into Destiny's Child, and she had to step up and she had to be a provider for her family, like how many people got that kind of perspective, to share. So very, very unique Beyonce shit that we're getting on here. And then I also really like the part where she shows like the shift in maturity throughout the song by kind of tweaking the refrain a little bit, where she starts talking about her mama praying and her daddy grinding. But then when she got a little bit older, she sees her mama crying more and her daddy's lying. I just thought like the way that she did that, I was like, damn, bro, she really broke that down. And that was just like really good songwriting. And but like you said before, I didn't see that when it first came out. I was like, man, she's trying to do country. What is this, man? After, it's in the context of the album, I'm like, okay, this is actually really, really good.
I don't usually go out my way. I might listen to a few songs every once in a while, once in a blue moon. Morgan Wallen, we've talked about him before. Like I said, there's a divide, right? Like I think some of his songs are catchy, but of course he had that incident and stuff. It's like there's always that like, even if I do mess with some of the songs, it's like, are they racist? Or like, is there something that I don't know about? So so going into this, I had to get that out of my head. I had to be willing to be like, okay, obviously it's not like I don't like any country music. It's just like, this is a whole album of it. And she got legends on here too, which I also mess with. Like you're saying, she does covers, but she also pays homage and found ways to get those artists that work in this field in this album and make it work pretty much every time, which is awesome. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, let's get into Blackbird, the first cover, because I don't know if you knew about this one. This one is a song originally written about black girls in the desegregation area in the UK, written by Paul McCarthy. Girls over there are referred to as birds. So Blackbirds. She's getting all the current artists, black female artists that she can to do the singing in the background. And they actually, throughout the song, get their own parts where they're just singing on themselves too. I don't know if you noticed that. Big shout out to Raina Roberts, Tanner Odell, Brittany Spencer, Tierra Kennedy. I thought vocals on there elite, bro. She just kind of highlighted the contradictions of like people want to listen to like good artists. They want to listen to good vocals, but you're going to discredit somebody at face value because of how they look, because of who they are as a person. She's just kind of pointing out the contradictions within the community. How you were saying before, you got to get that shit out of your head. It's Beyonce doing it. So she's highlighting those contradictions and she's making them known that it's bullshit, man. And like, let people exist in spaces, especially ones they created.
Just going into this, people were saying like, oh, it's a straight up country album. Like, no. I think you kind of said it too. It's like, it's a Beyonce album with country elements, or a country Beyonce album, and that's the truest thing. Bodyguard is an example of that. I think I really like that track.
That's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was a highlight. You know what I'm saying? Because it had a good balance. She has moments like that. Just going through the track, Two Hands to Heaven. I love that track a lot. Like those kind of give me, especially when the beat switched and she starts really singing about how she's been waiting her whole life for you and I. People hate that she talks about Jay-Z, but hey, she in love with that man. Like if you listen to these songs, especially talking about covers Jolene, it's like she willing to go to bat for that dude. So again, going back to Two Hands to Heaven, like that was a highlight as well for me because I was like, yo, this is smooth as hell, but it's not totally deviating from what you're trying to accomplish. You feel me?
I like that she got, the blessing from Dolly Parton to do the Jolene, and she had her like explain it, beforehand and stuff. I thought it was cool, man.
Dolly Parton, she pops up on that, and then she pops up on Tyrant later, right? And I like Tyrant. Tyrant was another moment for me. I was like, okay.
She knows how to make a song about riding horses, and she just completely like flipped it around. Like if you heard the song the first time, you like, oh, it's just about she on a horse now, haha. Nah, bro, she over here giving Jay-Z the fucking special treatment, bro.
She's always been kind of like open about sexual things and stuff. That's another element of her music that she's gotten really into since a certain point. And I think that has to do with pop music is like that. We have songs that hint at things, but like, of course it's catchy because it's Beyonce and she knows how to make a song. At least for me, it doesn't feel like she's reaching to make hits. This one and Renaissance, it was like, they're catchy, but that's not like where music's at totally. Like people aren't going out their way to check out country like that. Like there's an argument. I'm not going to say country's dying like they say rock and roll's dying, but it's definitely not as big as it used to be as far as like the masses, right? If you have an artist like this paying homage, working with artists in the field, like she got Willie Nelson, right? It's
Smoke sessions.
Yeah. And the interludes. I love the interludes on here because they kind of added another layer as far as like explaining things or showing that people that are in the industry or in this industry obviously are paying attention and want to work with her. Linda Martell, supposedly she was an old like black artist and she didn't really get the props she deserved at the time because she was a black woman artist that was trying to make moves in the industry. And I heard that's a part of the reason why she did get her on that specific interlude, like, or that moment on the album, you feel me? And obviously she's done her research. She's not just doing this to be like, I did country. Like, I was happy we decided to talk about this because I was like, this is something different.
I do want to get into the few like little rap pockets that she gets into because whoever be writing for her, man, like, y'all know what y'all doing like 95% of the time. And then there's that 5% where I'm just like, what are we doing here? I got a quotable real quick, bro. I got to put her on the spot, bro, because she got to answer for her crimes. At the snap of my fingers like Thanos, I'm on your head like cornrows. Slide, bro.
What track?
Spaghetti.
Yeah, I knew you were talking about Spaghetti off rip. That was a weird track. Swizz Beatz.
It was bad, bro.
You think the track was bad?
I
didn't dislike that track. I thought Spaghetti was all right.
I think the intro line took me out of it so much that I just couldn't find enjoyment out of it. But
okay, that's real.
It's got some stuff in there, right? But I wasn't feeling it. I was like completely taken out of it. Plus, because like it's a country album, right? Or like supposed to be a country album. Then she want to put in her own thing. It doesn't fit like the rest of the album. I don't know. Like she's like over here like talking shit. And
yeah, it did stand out.
And it stood out in like a weird way where I was just like, this don't match none of the theming of anything else. Everything else is really deeply personal. And then this one just kind of felt phony. Just felt like she phoned that shit in and she was like, yeah, y'all cook something. And they was like, fuck it, let's go on ChatGPT.
I give it a pass because it was like she did so much with a lot of the other songs. And I feel like with that song, she said artists feel boxed in. She talked about genres. She had that interlude.
That's true.
Where it literally said like genres make you feel boxed in. Like it's an interesting concept.
I did like
I feel
that
like
part.
With that track, it kind of went, even though there were some lines, I see what she was going for as far as like rap. It still have that like country thing.
They're talking about the genres was a cool part. And then I think the execution from that point has room for improvement. But it didn't take me all the way out of the album because you follow that up with Alligator Tears, and that's crazy. One of my favorites, bro. Yeah, one of my favorites for sure on here, bro. The one thing that I can really like emphasize that is like really, really good about this album, her like vocal registration from like high to low is like perfect, bro. Like there's a lot of like low registrations on here, and it's just like chilling with her singing, and just to have that range and be able to go from where she was to down here. Crazy, bro. I don't even think I could hit those notes. I'm a man.
She's been doing music for a time, especially with her vocal ability. She's crazy. That's one of the things I feel like has helped her stay relevant so long is that she has the looks, she has the talent, and then she also has the fan base that has stuck with her no matter what, and that defends her, the Beehive. So I don't know how she does it. I mean, obviously, she's one of those people that are a staple in the game, but that doesn't work for everybody. We've seen the other artists at a certain point, it's like a fall off. I don't see that with her yet. And that's why I think people at this point say she deserves an album of the year at the Grammys. I mean, I'm not going to say this is my album of the year, but if she did win it for this, man, that would be a hell of a thing. Like, that would be tight as hell.
From there, I mean, it goes into Just for Fun with Willie Jones that she got on there.
Yes.
You know, really good synergy on there. I just thought it was a really good track about, you know, persevering and overcoming struggles, and just a lot of positive messages on this album, whether it's about family, determination, love, just overwhelmingly positive, right? So while at the same time being like, y'all wasn't gonna let me in this shit, I'm gonna do it better than all y'all.
It's interesting with this album, right? Like, I've been listening to it. It's like the way everything comes together. It's a lot to take in, even for me still. But this is a Beyonce album, so that's one thing. It's all good on the ears.
And it's like 20 something tracks as well.
It's a lot of songs. Like,
even if you take out the interludes, it's still 20 plus, I think.
And then like 2 Months Wanted, right? With Miley Cyrus, like
that one, that's a hit in this household.
Okay,
that's a hit,
so you
bro.
okay, yeah, that was a cool moment. Of course, you know, Miley Cyrus, she's showing love to art in her own way. At one point, she was doing that with bangers, so she's working with Beyonce now, and that was cool to see. Yeah, that was a solid track. The way they were harmonizing was really dope. Like, I fuck with that a lot, actually.
It was good, and it's about, you know, two people going through the tribulations of love, and at the end of the day, she gonna be there for, you know, her man, and wherever he goes, she gonna be there as the shotgun rider, you know? It's a good way to do it. It follows up with another love track, and god damn it, I don't agree with Post Malone getting away from rap and using us, but man, he know how to stay on them good tracks, bro.
Yeah.
He got them good writers, bro. Cause
that was cool.
Hug you like some Levi jeans. I was hating at first, but I was like, after a while, I was like, yo.
Yeah. The Post, there's clips of him doing country songs in the past. I guess when he was younger, there was a clip of him making country music. I've seen that clip of him with Lil Baby where like there's a country song. He's like, we should sample this. So obviously he likes country music. I was wondering how he would fit because like I haven't been feeling Post Malone recently either, but he did a great job. He should have been doing that on his album, that newest album, even though he didn't do hip hop. He should have been doing more of that because I didn't like that new album. So that was cool to see that he came back.
And Beyonce outshone him on that track. Let's not get it twisted now, you know.
Bro, on all these tracks, I think she didn't really get outshone. I think she did that to make a point, like you said. I'm gonna work with y'all if you want to work with me, but you got to come up to bat because, I mean, you want a Beyonce album, like that's a big deal. Like she's an icon. So it's like you got to step your game up. You can't be bringing no weak ass shit. Because she's going to scrap it probably.
I wish I could say that she would scrap everything, but, you know, I got another track I got to hate on, bro. Just real quick.
For sure. Which one?
Off my chest. Yeah. Bro, if you walk into an H&M or a Hollister or any type of shop like that, that song is going to be on repeat. They going to be playing that song 24/7. That is what that song is for, bro. It is a retail song. You know how Mos Def said Drake make music that is compatible with shopping? Yeah, is most compatible with shopping out of all these tracks, bro. I'm just like, what is this?
It was the dancey vibe, I feel like. I just like, it came off too like glitzy, like too like pop. It didn't fit. Because she had another track where she was like more in like a dancey vibe, but it was like country more so. Riverdance. I thought Riverdance was okay, and it was like, let's dance. Like literally, let's do like the country dance and stuff, right? So it was like,
you could do that. Buckle, you know, do the little.
She should have kept that one and maybe cut the other one. Like the album does get a little long. It wasn't like it was long to the point where I was like, man, cut this shit off. Like, why is she still doing it? I get what she was trying to do with each track. Put this here to get this sound off, because I feel like if you're gonna dabble in country, especially like as a Beyonce album, she wanted to touch base because she knows she has fans that still want to hear that old sound. Grew up on Beyonce's music. I feel like she did enough to where if you didn't enjoy country at all, it's still there.
For sure.
Especially if you're a fan. You're going to get some enjoyment, right?
You're pretty much on base entirely. I mean, because I grew up with a little bit of country, I automatically am like kind of in tune with it. You grew up with just Beyonce, right? And I listened to Beyonce a little bit growing up. I wasn't too much. You know, we both kind of converged on this album where we're like, we both really actually do like it. And I think I was the first one to be like, let's check it out. And you were like, really? And then you got into it and you're just like, oh yeah. So Beyonce fans, you know, they might hear country and they might be turned off initially, but if you are a Beyonce fan and you listen to this, there's no way that you're not going to like it.
Can't say that because do not like country, bro. Even though it's not full on country, bro, like the features, the sounds, especially like if she doesn't switch it up sometimes.
She does switch it up enough. She even gets in her opera bag at one point on here, bro.
Yeah. Some people didn't really like Renaissance, right? Because it was like, it's dance, even though it was Beyonce and she's still singing and doing R&B shit, right? It's dance. It's been that way for years. Like, I think, I know some people, it's like, they fell off as far as like, they're not as big as Beyonce fans now as they were back in the day. But then I know some people who kind of changed up where it's like, I like her more mature music or different music more than the catchy songs. In my opinion, like if you want to hear B-Day or 4 or any of the classics, it's just like any other artist. Go listen to their old stuff because obviously she's moving forward. And I think she's going to drop a third one, right? I don't know what the vibe is on that. I've heard rock. It would be cool to see Beyonce do a rock album, but I think if anything, it would be cool to see her because she did do Renaissance, right? Like what if she did go back and try to do her old stuff? But again, if you want to hear her old stuff, go back and listen to that. And I think it could throw you off to the point where you might not like this still. You might be like, man, she's still on that other shit because maybe you were hoping she'd go back. You feel me? That's how it always is with artists. You know, people say that about a lot of people. It's like, you've been in the game so long. You got to change it up. And this was a good change up. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I'm thinking, Renaissance, she about to start rapping over some Beethoven.
That'd be crazy if she went that far. That'd be insane, man. But with the third one, like it would be cool, like rock, like you said with dance or like dance hall, like that was our music. We've seen it change, and country. Like if she did rock, we've heard rumblings of certain types of artists thinking about playing with that sound. Now, again, I haven't heard what the new one will be. That's just me.
Yeah.
Thinking like, what could she do? Because obviously she's in the lane of like, okay, let me do this now. Let me do that. So I'm excited, man, because this is 2 for 2 in this trilogy for me.
For sure.
I like Renaissance one more. I don't know about you. I got to make that clear.
I would say that they're both really good, and I don't think I can make a decision like that. But I did get to see Renaissance 1 live.
Oh, so you think you're cool?
Like front row. Yeah. It's an unfair comparison, man, because I got to see the second one live too. You know what I'm saying? And then I can make a decision, but it's hard. Rock would be a good one for her to pick. I just feel like it fits most on theme for like this reclamation that we're talking about. She reclaimed 2 different genres. Which one is she gonna reclaim next? I feel like that's kind of what the Renaissance is in a way. I also like your theory that she could reclaim her old music and do that again. That's also another avenue I could see. So whichever version we get, we've obviously been proved that we're going to get something good no matter what.
There's flashes on each album, so I can see that being the whole, like, put it all together, right? And that would be cool, too. But like I said, I like Beyonce's old music, but I appreciate her new music because she's expanded so much. So it's like, with me, some of those old songs, they're cool to listen to, but they're not as deep as these new ones. She's covered it all at this point. So yeah, I'm ready for more. I'm happy that you was like, re-listen to it. Because, of course I was putting it back because I didn't want to stay in that negative mind state. But once we were like, we're going to actually talk about it, I was like, okay, let me lock in. And I did. And it was an enjoyable experience. I recommend it.
What are your top 3 tracks that you pulled from this album, man? What should the people be listening to first?
Okay, so my 3 are Alligator Tears, Two Hands to Heaven, and Bodyguard. I like those 3 tracks.
Too easy.
Levi Jeans, I was messing with that one a decent amount. That was maybe fighting. Post Malone impressed me.
My favorite's got to be Blackbird. That one just was the first one that got caught in my head, and I thought that message stuck with me the most. Second one would have to be Two Most Wanted. I didn't know how I'd feel about Miley on here, and then when I heard them sing together, I was like, really good pairing. I wasn't expecting that. My last one is going to be Tyrant. That one is just so catchy, bro. It's so goddamn catchy, and it'd be stuck in my head playing, and I'd be lying to myself if I said it wasn't one of my favorites. So we
like the different kind of vibes, even though it was labeled as a country album. Like she pointed out with the genre discussion during the album, like she went around, so it was definitely dope. I liked how, like we're saying, like this album, I told you Renaissance was supposed to come after this one. I like how Amen is a closer. That's a solid closer, right? And then it flows right into Renaissance. If you listen to it back to back, I didn't really do that, but I saw people posting about it, of course. People were talking about this album a lot. It's basically a perfect transition. Planning to do that with the third one too. Make them all flow into each other. That's tight as hell.
Thank y'all so much for watching this video, Hip Hop Babies. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, first and foremost. Also, make sure you stream this album. Cowboy Carter, thank you so much, Beyonce, for giving us something to talk about. We wouldn't be nothing without the music. Music comes first, as always. If you got something that you want us to review, or you made something or you want to do an interview, hit us up, man. You know, we read all of our DMs and stuff on Instagram and Twitter. So just hit us up, TikTok, whatever, man. We're on all of it. Find us there. And fuck with your boy.
Thanks for watching. Beyonce, thanks for taking back what's ours. You know, we appreciate that. It takes some time. You know, we see people bite off our culture all the time. So it's dope to see, hey, man, we going to do it too. But it's not really biting because it's like, she did it her own way. And two, it's like, it was ours in the first place. You feel me? So reclaim our spot. That being said,
peace.
Peace.